Drakes.com Top 10 Vitamin B12 Foods. It's estimated that somewhere between 1.5% to 15% of the general American population is vitamin B12 deficient, and your chances of being deficient only increase as you age. Vitamin B12 deficiency symptoms can include depression, confusion, poor memory, balance problems, tingling and numbness in the hands and feet, and more. 1. If you suffer from any of these issues, you may need more vitamin B12 foods in your diet. What is vitamin B12? Vitamin B12, also called cobalamin, is a water-soluble vitamin that's essential to red blood cell production, healthy brain and nerve function, as well as DNA synthesis. Even a mild vitamin B12 deficiency can result in impaired mental function and low energy. Vitamin B12 also plays a role in the formation of red blood cells, so a deficiency can lead to the production of large, immature cells that are unable to properly carry oxygen. Do you have a vitamin B12 deficiency? Click here to learn about the top 10 vitamin B12 rich foods to keep you healthy. Benefits of vitamin B12 are vast and include boosting energy, reducing depression, decreasing sugar cravings and lowering neurological degeneration. This is definitely a vitamin B, one of 8, that you don't want to fall short on for so many reasons. How can you get B12 in your diet? Consume naturally high vitamin B12 foods like meat, poultry, fish, eggs and dairy products. Are you ready for some of my top healthy picks when it comes to foods high in B12? Top 10 vitamin B12 foods. Here are just some of the vitamin B12 foods you can consume on a regular basis to make sure you're getting enough of this essential vitamin in your diet. Beef liver, 1 ounce, 20 micrograms, over 300% DV. Sardines, 3 ounces, 6.6 micrograms, over 100% DV. Atlantic mackerel, 3 ounces, 7.4 micrograms, over 100% DV. Lamb, 3 ounces, 2.7 micrograms, 45% DV. Wild-caught salmon, 3 ounces, 2.6 micrograms, 42% DV. Nutritional yeast, 1 tablespoon, 2.4 micrograms, 40% DV. Feta cheese, 0.5 cup, 1.25 micrograms, 21% DV. Grass-fed beef, 3 ounces, 1.2 micrograms, 20% DV. Cottage cheese, 1 cup, 0.97 micrograms, 16% DV. Eggs, 1 large, 0.6 micrograms, 11% DV. 1. Beef liver. The top benefit of eating liver is its very high B12 content. All it takes is 1 ounce of beef liver to get well over most people's daily requirements for B12. Just always make sure to purchase beef liver of the highest quality. That means liver that's organic from grass-fed and pasture-raised cows. Consuming beef liver can help prevent anemia because not only is it high in vitamin B12, but it's also high in iron and folate. These are 3 nutrients that can aid in a natural recovery from anemia. 2. Sardines. Sardines are very high in vitamin B12, and they're also impressively high in something else vital to human health, omega-3 fatty acids. Research has shown that the omega-3s contained in sardines nutrition can have all kinds of major health benefits, including boosting heart health, decreasing inflammation and helping asthma. 2-3. Atlantic mackerel, 3 ounces, 7.4 micrograms, over 100% DV. Atlantic mackerel, not king mackerel, makes my list of healthy fish because not only is it super high in B12, but it's also loaded with omega-3s, low in mercury, and is rated a top fish pick for health as well as sustainability. 3-4. Lamb. Lamb is not eaten as much in the United States as it is in many other countries, but it definitely has impressive nutrition content. It's one of the top vitamin B12 foods, and it's also very rich in protein, iron, selenium and zinc. Selenium and zinc are 2 major immune-boosting nutrients. 4-5. Wild-caught salmon. Wild-caught salmon is one of the healthiest and most nutritious protein sources. Of course, you need to choose wild and not farm to make the most of this fish when it comes to your health. Wild-caught salmon is packed with vitamin B12 as well as vitamin D, which is another common vitamin deficiency these days. Research has demonstrated that 800 to 5,000 of vitamin D per day can improve musculoskeletal health, naturally slow aging of the skeletal structure, and reduce the rate of fractures and falls in older adults who are over 65. 5-6. Nutritional yeast. If you're a vegetarian or vegan looking for a way to get more B12 in your diet, nutritional yeast is a great option. It's typically fortified with B12 and other B vitamins. Nutritional yeast is also considered a complete protein since it contains at least 9 of the 18 amino acids that the human body is unable to produce. 7. Feta cheese. Feta cheese is a great source of vitamin B12 and many other nutrients, such as riboflavin, vitamin B2, and calcium. Traditionally, feta cheese is made from sheep's milk or a mix of sheep's and goat's milk. If you can find feta cheese made from raw sheep/goat's milk, the nutrition and health benefits are even better. Its high riboflavin content is excellent news for headache sufferers since studies have shown that riboflavin can significantly reduce the frequency of headaches, including migraines. 6-8. Grass-fed beef. Grass-fed beef is not just a top choice when it comes to vitamin B12 food sources, it's also one of the best animal sources of protein. Compared to grain-fed beef, it's a much healthier choice. Research has shown that grass-fed beef is higher in precursors for vitamin A, vitamin E and cancer-fighting antioxidants compared to grain-fed beef. 7-9. Cottage cheese. Cottage cheese is high in vitamin B12 as well as protein and calcium. It's also the star ingredient of an alternative approach to cancer known as the Budwig protocol or the Budwig diet. 10. Eggs. Eggs are a great non-meat source of vitamin B12. They also contain choline, which our livers depend on to function properly. Research has correlated low choline levels with liver dysfunction and possibly a higher risk of cancer formation. 8 top health benefits of vitamin B12. 1. Possible cancer preventer. A deficiency in vitamin B12 prevents folate from being converted into its active form. Therefore, DNA is not able to be properly replicated and can become damaged. Experts believe that damaged DNA can directly contribute to cancer formation. Vitamin B12 supplementation along with folate supplementation is being researched as a way to help ward off and even treat certain kinds of cancers. 9-2. Boosts brain health. Low levels of vitamin B12 have been shown to double the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease in elderly men and women. Vitamin B12 helps maintain low levels of homocysteine, which may play a role in the development of Alzheimer's disease. It's also crucial for the ability to focus and can help reduce symptoms of ADHD and poor memory. 10-3. May prevent depression. Multiple studies have demonstrated a correlation between depression and vitamin B12 deficiency. This makes sense because vitamin B12 is required for the synthesis of a neurotransmitter related to regulating mood. One study published in the American Journal of Psychiatry looked at 700 community living, physically disabled women over the age of 65. The researchers found that the women who were deficient in vitamin B12 were twice as likely to be severely depressed as the non-deficient women. 11-4. Anemia prevention and red blood cell production. Vitamin B12 is necessary for the production of a healthy level and size of red blood cells. B12 helps prevent anemia, especially megaloblastic anemia. This form of anemia means that red blood cells are not just fewer in number, but also bigger than normal in size as well as being immature. All of those undesirable red blood cell conditions equate to lower levels of oxygen making it through the blood to the body's tissues, which can result in common symptoms of weakness and exhaustion. 5. Encourages optimal energy levels. As a B vitamin, vitamin B12 helps convert the carbohydrates, proteins and fats we consume into usable fuel in the body. Without these conversions taking place in an ideal fashion, people with vitamin B12 deficiencies often have fatigue on a regular basis. 12. Vitamin B12 is also required for neurotransmitter signaling that helps your muscles contract and gives you energy to go about your day without feeling tired and run down. If you want to have optimal energy levels on a regular basis, the vitamin B12 foods I just talked about are not to be missed. Dangers of low vitamin B12. The current daily recommended value for vitamin B12, based on a 2000 daily calorie intake for adults and children 4 years of age or older, is 6 micrograms per day. 13. Sometimes a B12 deficiency can be masked by taking folic acid in high doses. Vegans and vegetarians are at greater risk for B12 deficiency since vitamin B12 is found primarily in animal foods. Also, those with leaky gut and digestive malabsorption may be at risk of a deficiency. Another serious risk factor that can lead to a lack of vitamin B12 is taking certain prescription medications. Possible dangers or side effects of having low levels of vitamin B12 include 14. A type of anemia in which there are fewer yet larger red blood cells, balance and walking disturbances, nerve damage, confusion, loss of vibration sensation, dementia. In advanced stages of deficiency, low levels of vitamin B12 in pregnant women shortly before or after conception have been associated with a significantly higher risk of neural tube defects in their babies, so consuming vitamin B12 foods is especially important for pregnant women. 15. Recipes with vitamin B12 foods. If you want to ensure that you're getting enough B12 in your diet on a regular basis, you'll definitely want to check out these recipes. They all contain one or more vitamin B12 foods. Plus, they're all loaded with delicious flavor. Some of my favorite recipes containing vitamin B12 foods include almond-crusted salmon recipe, easy, gluten-free beef stroganoff recipe, stuffed cabbage rolls with lamb recipe, turmeric eggs with raw cheese recipe. Precautions with vitamin B12 foods. If you have a vitamin B12 deficiency and decide to take a B12 supplement, it's important to know that it can interact with certain medications. Talk to your doctor if you currently take medication or have any chronic health concerns. Medications that are known to decrease the levels of vitamin B12 in the body include anti-seizure medications, bile acid sequestrants, chemotherapy medications, especially methotrexate, colchicine, H2 blockers, metformin, glucophage, proton pump inhibitors, including esomeprazole, Nexium, lansoprazole, Prevacid, omeprazole, Prilosec, and rabeprazole, Acifex. Antibiotics, especially tetracycline. B12 injections are also an option if you have a vitamin B12 deficiency. Final thoughts on vitamin B12 foods. The best way to get enough vitamin B12 is through a healthy diet whenever possible. This isn't such a hard task once you know what foods contain this essential vitamin. The top 10 vitamin B12 foods I love include beef liver, sardines, Atlantic mackerel, lamb, wild-caught salmon, nutritional yeast, feta cheese, grass-fed beef, cottage cheese and eggs. As you can see, there are a lot of tasty options when it comes to foods high in B12. I hope you'll give some of my favorite B12-rich recipes a try. I think you'll definitely enjoy their flavor as well as their many B12 health benefits.